the fourth record, We're All in This Together. You know, this one, I'm not sure if it was your top selling record. It might have been, but it was the one that got me, Scott Goldfine, into Chocolate Milk, because it came out when I was in high school, and out here in Los Angeles, where I grew up. I'm in Charlotte now, but grew up in Los Angeles, and I mean, black radio there was all over this. I mean, Girl Calling was huge, and Grand Theft 2. So tell me about the making of that record and how it was received, and that whole experience with that record for you.
Well, let me take it back just a little bit, back to the album with Chocolate Milk with the space lady on it. There was a song, not only Groove City, but there was a song called Say Won't Ya. And Say Won't Ya is one of the songs, again, that I had penned. And I always wanted to incorporate what we usually say. Because a lot of times in New Orleans, you know, there's always that saying. They say, you know, down south, they always say, let's go make groceries. And that's a slang, let's go make groceries. But during the time when French were French, I mean, that's how they spoke when they spoke English, because that's what it meant. But it had different meanings, connotations to it. So we usually say, yeah, did you go make groceries? And everybody start laughing. So when I had Say Won't Ya, that's kind of how we talked. We like, yeah, say won't ya? Hey, say won't ya now, man? Won't you? And then that got to be the same. So that was a big hit, but it was a big hit on the East Coast. And when it did really well, Say Won't Ya, it opened up a lot of eyes. So then Alan Toussaint said, okay, I'm going to come and sit with you for 6 months. I'm going to actually sit in the studio with you. And that's when he actually did that. So when he actually came in and did that, he came up with Girl Calling. Girl Calling got big the opposite way. Instead of on the East Coast, it got big on the West Coast. The difference is, though, the West Coast got way more pull than the East Coast. And every celebrity knew that song. Everybody. LeVar Burton, at the time when Roots were out, we met LeVar Burton, and I couldn't believe how I was a fan of his, and he was like on his knees with me, and I was like, what's going on? I couldn't believe what was happening. I was kind of starstruck when that happened, because it was what it was. Peabo Bryson, all of those were out on concert. We were headlining over them, and on the West Coast, everything. When we go to the big record signings, they had
a beautiful thing about that one, Frank, is I mean, I believe you were sounding like Frank Richard on that one. You weren't sounding like somebody else.
Exactly, right.
So that was a beautiful thing.
Yeah. It was beautiful because here's the deal. At the time, Alan Toussaint was intimidated, as big artists are. Everybody has their own complexes that they deal with. And he knew I could sing. And he knew that deep down, he knew he can't really sing. But he was a guy that was trying to coach me how to sing. And he couldn't pull it off himself. And so that was a pull between us. The big pull. The big pull between us was that I didn't touch the piano because I wouldn't try to challenge him on the piano. So a lot of people at that time really didn't know I could play piano, because there were so many other people that could do that. But vocally, I knew I could go with anybody vocally. So when he would tell me what to sing and how to sing it, I was singing and I would sing it better. And then he would walk away. And so I had to deal with a lot of that kind of thing playing out in this. So he used to teach me how to sing the Girl Calling and how to sing it. And because we were going at it so much, I defied him more. So I tried to be more me than to try to be him. And so that's how it came off to be that. In fact, if that makes any sense. Yeah, that's how God worked that out, because, again, that was a good thing that we defied, because I decided to be me and not be him. And he wanted me to sing it a certain way. He wanted me to do it, and I refused, because I had an ego about me, and that was the problem. You know, I was like, I'm better than you. So why you trying? And so that was as a young kid, that's how you and I was young, and that's how it came off, you know. So, but anyway, Girl Calling came out big, and I had to. There was a yodel in there that that I also put in there, and I had to fight him on that because he was like, no, I don't think you ought to do that, and that was the ego of him telling me what I should do. But when I did it for, he told me demonstrate it, and so when I demonstrated it for him, he was like, you know. I went, Callin, and he was like, wow, do that again. And I did, Callin, and then he was like, oh, okay. All right, well, we'll see how that works. And so, and we put that on, and I had kids trying to sing that when we would go to concerts the whole time. I mean, it was one of those things that kind of helped pull it in. But he was the orchestrator of the sound that we had, where I was actually singing horn parts. So while they were playing their horns, I was singing the horn parts to it. So when Joe was playing da 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 da, I would say I wouldn't change it along with the horn part, and that was different the way we were doing it, and so that kind of set it different. I think that's what the West Coast really liked about the idea. All of it, I'm sure, but I was actually singing jazz licks against the funk. With
I think also the West Coast was just always a little more in tune to the slower tempo funk. That's why, because gangster rap hit it here too. You know, more in the slow kind of laid back groove. You know.
Right.
Rather, New York had the disco came out of there.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're so true, so right on that. We were different. It was, I think that was the thing. It was different, you know, and had that slow funk about it. In fact, if I can remember correctly, after because everybody in LA was loving this song. I mean, they was making us live out there. So, won't y'all come live out here? And we went back to New Orleans, which we should have stayed. But that was the thing. I mean, everybody loved that song, and so I think what happened when we did that. We went to Total because we had finished Total Experience. We went to visit Total Experience, and the Gap Band was there, and they had a song "Shake Your Booty," and it was dun 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 dun.
That was like their first hit, yeah.
And but it had that dun 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 dun, and I said, "Wait, y'all done stole our groove? Like really?
Yeah,
y'all stole our
slower
groove."
funk also, yeah.
Right, and then later on was a faster version of that, a little faster version of that called "Ladies' Night" with the Kool in the Gang. And they had dun 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 with the piano going through the whole thing, because that's what we had, that piano going like a train through the whole record, just constantly doing that, and everybody kind of picked up on that and took it to another level. Every time I heard another record, that's what I heard. So we kind of opened that door.